So welcome back to the channel. I think today's episode will be very interesting. I have decided to add a few more features to the application, which will make it a lot more fun and exciting, and it will make for a lot of cool content. So last time we discussed about achievements and how to basically use the application. As usual, when you start to actually think about your design and to actually code and to do your class design and entities design, you realize that a lot of the things were missing from your plan, and this is exactly what happened to me. So let's see what we have so far. Where are we with the project right now? Let's think about our classes. So we have the achievements, of course. It has a name, it has a description. I thought it should have some points required, which is an integer, because you need to reach a certain amount of points to complete an achievement. This is arguably debatable because it doesn't work with all types of achievements. So yeah, I'll first show you how I initially planned these entities, and then I'll show you what ended up during the coding to be, because it's always a different thing. And then we have a boolean is completed. Yeah, that's about it. You do achievements by doing what? You need to do something that triggers these achievements, right? So let's introduce the idea of a quest. And we kind of end up with a sort of game, like we sort of gamify real life, because that's essentially what I wanted to do with this application. Like I wanted to set daily quests for myself, to do daily, which are, just tasks. And then you do certain quests and they add up to some achievement. That's kind of the logic behind it. So let's see what a quest representation could be like. And of course, there are so many ways of solving these problems. Everything I'm giving you in this video is just one idea out of a billion ideas, okay? So what does a quest have as properties? Let's think about it. Well, a quest has, of course, a name. Again, it also has a description. The quest might be time boxed, like you might need to be doing it in a specific amount of time. And Dart has this type called duration, which is perfect for like time spans. But this is optional, right? Because it could be time boxed, it could not be. Then how do we measure quests in terms of how much reward do they give you, right? Well, let's see. We have something called difficulty. It can be an enum, low, medium, high difficulty, right? You can have these values. And we can make a system where low gives you 2 points, medium gives 4 points or something like that, and high gives you, I don't know, 6 points. And again, this is just a rough idea. We will see what ended up in the actual class. And then you have is completed, a boolean. We want to filter quests in the application which are completed or those which are not in various views. Well, this is an interesting thing. How do you link the quest to the achievement? Well, you could say in the quest, you could say counts towards achievements, achievement 1, achievement 2, and so on, right? But is this really a good idea? Because then you bind the quest to the achievement entity at creation time, right? When you create a quest, you have quest Q is new quest, and then it's like you pass in the achievements, achievement 2, and then let's see, you have a few achievements on this quest. But then what if you create a new achievement, blah blah blah, with some parameters? Question: does the quest count towards your new achievement? No, because the quest was created already on the previous achievements. It has nothing to do with the previous achievement. But what if in real life I'm creating an achievement on something that the quest was about? I want the quest completion to count also towards that achievement which I added later, right? So how do you bind the achievement to the quest? Well, I thought of introducing the entity and the concept of skill in order to do that. What does that mean? So you have a quest that counts towards a skill, and this is an object or something. Or for simplicity, let's call it a let's just say it's a string, and then you have the same skill, which for now is a string. And what does that change? Well, when the quest is created, you don't pass the achievements anymore, because we remove the binding of the achievements straight into the quest, and we say, you know what, this quest is about, you have the quest that you want to learn JavaScript, so you make a quest about this task. When you make the quest, learn JS, so we make a new quest, then you assign the JavaScript skill to this, and then you create the achievement, and you say new achievement, complete 10 sessions of JS skill, right? And then the skill of that achievement is JavaScript, right? You have made the achievement after the quest. When I complete this previously made quest, does it count towards my achievement? It does, because they are both linked through the same skill, right? So that's kind of the logic between introducing this new skill entity. And by the way, the skill, I thought that you could have like major skills and minor skills. For example, you could have a major skill, learn programming. Another skill could be learn functional programming. This is a minor skill. You could argue that learn functional programming is a subset of learn programming, right? They are both the same thing, learn programming, but functional programming is more specific. So it's kind of a child. So then how do we design the skill to account for this major and minor? Well, we make skill an entity. Instead of a string, we make it a skill. And then we say skill, it has a name, which is of course a string. And it has a parent skill, which is another skill, and this is optional, right? So then, how do we use this? So then let's say I have skill, learn programming. Name is learn programming, and parent skill is null. And here, name is learn functional programming, and parent skill. So here we have this. So here we have this separation where we have like learn programming is the base skill because it has no parent. The parent is null, and learn functional programming is like the child skill because it has a parent skill, right? I think this looks good so far. Again, this is what I thought of in theory before I started coding. Like I sat down with a piece of paper and a pencil and like, how do I, connect everything together? And these are like some ideas. And again, it doesn't have to end up this way. Most of the times when you start coding on it, it just ends up being a completely different way. Because you start initializing objects and stuff and seeing, oh, okay, that cannot be like that. And now a good question would be, to whom do all these things apply to? Like, who gets all these achievements? Well, as a user of the application, you are the character, and you get levels, you get, skills, achievements. So it's kind of a gamification of real life, but you are the central piece that all of these things apply to. So if we think of a character, what are the properties that it should have? Well, of course, it has a name as usual. It has a level. Let's put it integer for now. You need to keep track of the achievements, which is like a list of achievement, right? And I thought it could have also some rewards. So then you have rewards. So you could see some rewards that motivate you. You have some you earn some stuff along the way. So we can introduce the idea of a reward. And this can be an abstract class. A reward can be, I don't know, a title that appears next to your character name or something. Like in World of Warcraft, you have like, I don't know, John the Explorer or something. The character could have some function, yeah? And this essentially sets it as a new level, of course. And this is where I realized when I was doing the level up, I understood that there is, if this level stays an integer, there is no possible way to understand when do you level up. Like, how do I know, you know, how do I know when can I level up? Because in all games, you actually have an experience bar. So that's something that we need to account for. And let's say we have a system of points. So I thought of doing function where you gradually, with each level up, you need to do more experience. Just like in these RPG games, the more you level up, the more experience you need to reach the next level. Level points, you always start with some points, right? The points required would be your new level times the previous level points times 0.12. So what does that mean? You start at level 1, right? You have 10 points that you need to reach for level 2, right? Points required. So quests give you points. When you reach level 2, how do we calculate the points required for the next level? Well, we could say, you know, points required, we could hard code it, and then we could like, you know, double or something. But it's a bit too much. Like, I don't want to double, but I still want to increase. I thought of this formula where previously you have 10 points, right? From here. New level, which is 2 times previous level points, they were 10. Yeah? Times 0.12. And times 0.12 because we don't want to double it all the time. This is just a coefficient to temper down the level requirement and just make it a lot more approachable for each level, right? And if you like math.round all of this, this gives you 12 points, right? And then when you reach level 3, points required is math.round level 3 times 12 times 0.12, 16. And so on. We still get a progression, as you can see from each level you need more points, but you don't need double always, because that will be too harsh. Okay, so let's see now how did the project ended up being like, and more importantly, how the classes and entities ended up being like from all that planning, right? Because it never happens the way you plan. But you need to have some, in my opinion, you still need the planning because you need to have some rough sketches and ideas on how to build things. So, of course, in Flutter, you always have, as you know, all the platforms, Android, iOS, Linux, Mac OS. In this case, we are interested only in desktop applications. So, you know, Linux, Mac OS, and Windows. But I'm still keeping the other platforms, maybe for the future, who knows. And of course, the code always resides in the lib folder, so let's see what it contains. There are many, many ways to structure a project, and this is just one that I found suitable enough for now. Of course, this may change in the future, but it was important to start with something. So I thought of splitting into like features of the application. Well, we have like achievement, we have character, we have quests, and then we have some shared stuff. In the features, we have a layer split. So like domain, this would be models, and you know, later there will be services to fetch the data from somewhere or something, or post it. And then presentation is everything about the widgets. And I have tried to respect this structure for all the features, like achievement has the same, quest has the same, and character has the same, right? I think it's good to keep consistency. So now let's see how the models look like, and let's discuss a bit, and then I'll give a sort of a preview of how the application looks right now. So here I had a lot of challenges, and initially I made like this abstract class achievement. It was not generic, but it had some base properties. I had some inherited classes that were extending achievement, like timed achievement, and that was just a lot of copy paste. So I said, you know what? Let's stick to one achievement class, and that class just gets a different achievement criteria. Each achievement must be of a type that extends the achievement criteria. You kind of limit the type of T that it can be here. And then we have this criteria per each achievement when we create it, which we pass it in the constructor, right? Let's go through the criteria. You have the base criteria for being able to use multiple criteria here. But we have a level reach achievement criteria, which you reach some new level, and then you get an achievement for having reached that level, right? And this is the level that you need to reach for this particular achievement. And then you initialize, you initialize with the level required. You have a timed achievement where you need to complete the achievement in a specific time, which, as we discussed earlier, is of type duration, which is a very nice type that Dart offers for time spans. We have completion achievement criteria. You need to complete something, some quest or whatever, a certain amount of times, right? So that's all about criterias. And then basically, how do you use all of this stuff? Well, you can have something like, let's see the usages here. You can make like a level reached achievement. It has a name, it has a description, and then you pass it a level reach achievement criteria of 10. So that means you get this achievement when you reach level 10. You can also have, a timed achievement, and then you pass in a time achievement criteria of duration minutes 10. And then you have, of course, a completion achievement where, you need to complete that achievement a certain amount of times. In order to build all these different achievements, you don't need multiple achievement classes. This is kind of the beauty of generics. And when you can think about different criteria, you just add a new class, and then you can make a new achievement based on that criteria, because the criteria here is T. So because T extends criteria, anything that you pass as an achievement criteria, you can make an achievement with it, right? So this is kind of where the achievement model ended up being like. Let's see something else. Here I have in the presentation, I have some widgets. Flutter is really cool because it has such a nice design, and you can easily waste a lot of time tinkering with the design. I really recommend you don't do that. Like, really stick to figuring out your application. I went down the rabbit hole, fixed some bugs. I will show the application in a little bit. Let's go to the character. And here we have like character and reward and skill. I don't think this should be in this folder under character, but I don't know. For now, I just wanted to get them done. Doesn't really matter that much. Structure can be changed as the project goes on and grows. Doesn't really matter. So let's see what the character is like. We have the character with a name, of course, which is final because it's decided at character creation. The character has something called a skill level, right? And what is a skill level? A skill level, so as we discussed earlier, we go to the skill now. And as we discussed earlier, the skill is basically something that has a name. This is optional. It could have a parent skill. So when you initialize it, it might have a parent skill or it might not have a parent skill. It might be a base skill. We need to show in our application what is your skill, like let's say you are learning programming, and what is your level that you have achieved. Maybe you learn something else. You learn some foreign language. You learn Spanish. You are level 8 in programming. You are level 15 in Spanish. So I was thinking of a way to be able to show in the application what is my level per each skill, and I ended up with this class. Right, so that's why the character has a list of skill levels. Then, of course, the character has a list of achievements, which we have seen the model earlier. Then the character has a list of rewards, because you might want to show them. like, you know, your titles. A reward for now, I just have a title. A really cool thing that the reward should have, it should have a date. Like when did you get that reward? And then you can say achieved on date, blah, blah, blah. So let's make that final acquired on, final date, time, acquired on. So that's kind of what I would do to pass the acquired on to the reward class. Okay, cool. Now that we saw how do the entities look like, how does the project structure look like, for the moment, of course, it is subject to change. Now let's see how the application looks like. You will always have the repository, so you can try things out yourself. It's always going to be in the description box below. So if we say Flutter run, we want for Windows, because this is Windows. Building Windows application. It's that simple. Man, I love Flutter so much. It's crazy good. So this is how I thought of it for now. You have, this is the title. For now you have 2 menu items only. You can switch between quests and achievements. So the quests would be where you create your quests, daily quests. And you can make, like, you know, your real life tasks as a quest, like, you know, I need to go here and there to buy groceries. So that would be a quest, right? Or, you know, I need to learn to play an instrument. That would be a quest. And achievements are where you get your, you can see what you earned so far. So yeah, it's very basic for now. I really like in Flutter that everything that you create can be scalable, and it's crazy good. This is where the project is right now. For sure, I have done so many mistakes in this project with the entities, but this is the beautiful part in programming. When you make something, you will always have challenges that you meet along the way, and you just have to face them and to solve them. So yeah, I hope you guys like this episode. Again, the code and everything is available in the description box. Try it out. Let me know what you think. Yeah, I'll see you in the next episode. I think we will start implementing maybe the database. I was thinking of going with the cloud database actually, because initially I wanted to go with the SQLite database integrated in Flutter, but I might go with cloud because it's pretty useful to have your daily tasks and achievements available on multiple devices. So that means we need to introduce some cloud services, cloud database, and these are things that we will discuss along the way as we continue working on this project. Yeah, thank you for watching. Definitely subscribe, and I'll see you in the next episode. Peace.